Welcome to Volk's Delights and welcome to my overview of Achaia. Achaia is a tactical game with only one goal, becoming the ruler of Troy. Each player represents a noble house as you try to survive at all costs by use of all kinds of manipulation and foul play. At its heart, it's a worker placement game, but this time the workers are dice with a rolled value, and you'll be influencing their placement by using intrigue cards. And indeed, bribery will win you the loyalty of various characters in Troy. I'll be setting up a 3-player game here in order to demo the mechanisms of the game and give you a flavour of how this plays. We'll start by setting up a modular board. And each of these tiles represents an area of the city. So we have the prison here, the port, trading office, mint. You can play with them ordered 1 to 12 in numerical order, or as an advanced game you can kind of shuffle these around face down before revealing the order of the tiles. Each of these towns will have a limit to the number of your workers, your dice that you can place here, and it scales by using these adjustments depending on how many players are in the game. And indeed some locations begin closed to the players. We have a number of character cards that will be made available for each of the 3 turns of the game, as well as a set of cards to represent your cousins, your family, and help the players avoid many perils in the struggle for power. We'll do the same for a set of event cards, 1 for each of the 3 turns. Players will be ending their turns by passing and potentially playing one of these event cards from their hands to end their turn. We also have a set of intrigue cards. These are the cards that you'll be using to perform those political persuasions, if you like. Each player starts the game with 3 intrigue cards in their hand, 1 event 1 card, 1 street cousin, and then each player gets a pass action card that they'll place in front of their player screen. As I'm demoing, I'm just going to play with these screens, not covering anything. And I've set up 3 players, 1 red, blue and green. And each player also starts the game with their 5 power dice, power tokens and 7 gold coins. We have a power track marker. This is going to be representing our score. Highest score at the end of 3 turns is going to be declared the winner. And you can lose points as well as earn them. And we earn these power points by dominating and taking control of these locations. And just before we kick off, we reveal 3 characters that are available to us in this first turn. We have Mika, Zirian and Milta the strategist. We can pay them gold coin to earn their loyalty and execute their effects. And that's very useful here. Remember, our aim is to take control. And these dice, these power dice, like our workers, they're going to represent our influence and control across the city. Each player rolls their dice. They get 1 chance to re-roll their dice if they're not happy with their result. The blue player is going to have another crack at this. And, well, it's a little bit better perhaps. About the same. Sum up the values. The player who has the lowest die roll becomes first player. Settle ties however you wish. Let's say green becomes first player. And we start placing our dice, we'd always take turns on one location. Once we've finished placing dice, each player will get to place 3 each. We move to the preparation phase, which we skip on turn 1, but this is when we kind of reset things, getting ready for the turn ahead. Next comes the Intrigue Phase, and this is when we get to play cards to influence those dice placements. The third phase is the Domination Phase, and this is where players will get to act out the particular effects of each of the locations where they've managed to end up. And then finally, the settling of power. Some of these locations will have better effects than others. For example, the Black Market, the Port, the King's Palace and Royal Council, they begin closed, so we're not going to be able to use them. So green's going to start, grab some gold from the mint, hopefully. Red wanted to do the same thing. He has a 6 as well. In the event of ties, the first player can choose who gets that domination, but with some pretty good dice, it's going to take one of these 5s. This is kind of more of a blocking move now because there's a 2 die limit here. Blue's going to play a die to the Citadel. He has a 6, 5, 4, 2 and a 1. So he's going to play a 4 here. There's only 1 die allowed in the Citadel. Citadel allows you to pay 2 gold and then modify a dice by +2 or receive 2 gold and an intrigue card. We move back to green now as first player and we'll continue to play dice on the board. We move back to green now as first player, and green's going to start by playing Informant, one of his intrigue cards. It says I can either re-roll any number of my dice or select any character and get as many gold coins as there are usage tokens on it. Every time you use a character, it gets a usage token. So for now, we're going to re-roll any number of our dice. So this goes in the discard, and we're going to re-roll this one. Well, not much help, it's another 3, and these 2. Okay, we've got a 6, so that's better from our reserves. Please stay in front of your screen so everyone can see what you have. The gold and cards, etc., they stay behind your screen. Now red has made use of the trading office. Doesn't like his hands particularly, but has more cards to help him with that. And we're going to use a character action. And one we're going to use is Zirian. So she pays 0 gold. It doesn't cost anything to use Zirian's action. It says select one of your dice in the trading office. You get gold coins equal to the result of that die and then move that die to any location in Troy. Now we've used Zirian, we put a usage token down. If anyone else wants to use Zirian, they pay the cost plus 1 gold for every usage token. Alright, so the cost to bribe Zirian goes up every time he's used. And with a 6 in the trading office, the red player is going to get 6 gold to add to our reserves. And then move the 6 somewhere, and you've got to respect the limits. In place it here in the prison, I think. Now blue is going to do something a little more attacking with the Demarian crossbowman. It says we can either change the result of any die to one on the opposite side or pay 2 gold to discard any cousin. So we're going to attack this die here and try and turn it to a 1. Now the good news for red is that some of these cards can actually be used as kind of reactions. Okay, so if we look at the street cousin, see this one here, we can use protected by the order. Pay 2 gold as a reaction to cancel any intrigue card, or a street cousin. Pay 2 gold, discard the cousin to cancel an intrigue card played against you. Or we can take a chance and roll the die and potentially keep the cousin. We'll use our street cousin. So let's see, we roll a die on a 1 to 3, discard. And we have some spare generic dice for this. Let's see what we get. It's a 6. As it says, cancel the intrigue card. So crossbowman has no effect. Now green, not entirely happy with his hand, is actually going to try and use Zan's ability, one of the characters from the House of Orion. This is going to cost 2 gold. And it says, draw 2 intrigue cards. Prince Orion can increase the die capacity of a location temporarily. Once everyone's done everything they want to do, they can pass. And red fancies passing, and as the first player to pass, they will earn the first player counter. And red may, at this point, play their event card. Okay, she doesn't want to. It says reactivation of trading office. Each player with a die in a trading office may pay X gold to modify the result on their die. She's going to keep that for now. But in a 3-player game or in a 2-player game, only 1 player can play an event card. And we'll keep going now. Blue next. Just going to play an arrest warrant and modify a die by plus or minus 1. And once everyone's passed, we'll move into the domination phase. Now everyone's passed, no one played an event card, but we move into the domination phase. And we're going to consider each location in numerical order. So up here at the temple first. Add together the values of all the same coloured dice. Whoever has the highest value gets to place one of their power tokens here. Green beats blue. And for the first power token placed, you gain 1 point of power. Next time, if green still controls here, then they get to place a power token down. But that's important for the final settling of power. Whoever has the most power tokens here, so we could have blue putting more down or red, whoever has the most power tokens here will gain another point of power. So that's important for earning those extra points. Keep loading up these locations with your power tokens. After establishing dominance, now we consider each die in turn. Imagine that there was 3 dice here. Okay. Each die would allow that player to execute the effect of the location, and it would be in numerical order. So green would get a go, then blue, and then green finally. If there's a tie, then the first player would decide. So in this case, red has the first player token, so she would get to decide if green or blue went next. Okay. As it stands at the temple, we can look at the intrigue discard pile and add one of those cards to our hand. So green decides to take one of these cards. I think she's going to take the informant again because that was pretty useful. And now blue gets to do the same. And we'll take the crossbow again. Now we head over to the prison. Blue has dominance, so gets a power token. And the prison says a maximum of 2 times, pay 1 gold and take a street cousin. So blue's going to pay that 1 gold, that's 5, get 4 change. Take a street cousin, just the 1. Now he has 2. Red now is going to pay 2 and take 2. And we moved to the trading office. Green's the only player here, so gets a power token and draws 2 intrigue cards. 1, 2. And places his power up 1. Oh, blue's supposed to put his power up 1, 2. Now green's going to win dominance again at the mint. So green's taking a bit of a lead here. And both he and the red player take 4 gold. Next up is the heraldic office. 1 more power for red, and she gets to take a court cousin. The good thing about court cousins is it's the same as street cousin. except the odds are a little bit more preferable, and it allows her to cancel any intrigue card, not just ones that target her, which is what Street Cousin does. There's no hand limit here, by the way. Finally, blue wins dominance at the Citadel. And we could now pay 2 gold and turn this into a 6. I think we'll take the 2 gold and a new intrigue card. So we take this. This one's bribery. Swap the results between any 2 dice. Nice. Or 2 gold to move 1 power token to any location in Troy, so you can move power tokens around as well. It's great. So you can see there's a lot of take that going on. You know, you can build your own strategy, collect the cards, make sure you've got defensive cards in place to counter those intrigues, but also mess with other people's plans as they start to dominate the board. For now though, we head into turn 2 and the preparation phase. And this is where things are going to kind of get reset a little bit. So to start off, House of Orion gets reset. Any usage tokens come off. These characters get discarded. And because we're in turn 2 now, we draw 3 new characters from turn 2. We have Commander Tep, swap any 2 dice in Troy. Barrett, get 5 gold, and Virion, pay gold equal to X plus the number of usage tokens on this character to modify any die result by plus or minus X, either your own or another player's. Players now get a new event card. The red will get returning the port in Yach. All players in counterclockwise order subtract 2 from their dice. Blue gets Achaia in Syrinx. Only you may swap 2 of your dice. So you play your event and then swap 2 of your dice. And finally, Party to Honour Sirius. Each player reveals how much gold they have. Anyone who has more than 10 returns excess to the bank. But they do receive 1 power point for each 5 returned in such way. Okay, so the events start to get a little bit more intriguing. We turn our action cards face up again, ready for the next turn. And in turn 2, see there's 2 up in the top left here. Reminds you the Royal Council and the port become available. The port allows us to take 3 gold and 1 intrigue card. The Royal Council, pay 4 gold, roll any 2 dice. Incidentally, on the back of your player aid, there's a useful reference, so you don't have to. The iconography becomes very clear pretty quickly, but it does give you a quick summary of what each of those town locations does. I particularly like, as we head into the 3rd turn, the black market becomes available. Sell any number of intrigue cards, receiving 2 gold for each. And this is where the game becomes really interesting, because not only are you fighting for power, but you're fighting for power in locations where you can use the effects of those locations to your advantage. Obviously there's lots of random elements going on here in terms of what characters come out, what events you get dealt, what intrigue cards you get dealt, what your dice rolls are, but you do get to have quite a bit of control over your dice rolls. So for example, we may use the crossbowman, change the result on any die to 1 on the opposite side of the die. So blue could turn this 1 into a 6. Okay, and then obviously swap dice around with other effects. And these 2 dice we've got in reserve are going to start to see some action now, because in player 2, in turn order, and this is where winning the first player token is helpful, you get to place 1 die on the board. In fact, I think red might go for the trading office. And then start to use some of these effects that you know are going to work well for you. And green is going to play up here. And to kind of up the ante on the next turn, each player can either take 2 intrigue cards or 3 gold at the start of each turn. And now we head back into the Intrigue Phase as we are playing more cards. And this time first player is red. This is a real Euro with card play. I like the combination, I really do. I like this is very interactive. This is all about, you know, messing with each other's plans. The team at Reading are displaying this at Essen Spiel this year, 2015. There are other games that kind of use that dice as workers type mechanism, but I really like it. I really like that you've got this extra dimension to worker placement, which always benefits from innovation. That's it for now. See you next time.